guys, and welcome to your next Diary Logs. So, I am shooting this one on New Year's Eve as very excitingly, I'll touch on it more towards the end of the video, but I finally got invited by immigration and I've submitted my final application. So after this, it's just waiting for them to get back to me to send me the visa approval, unless they want more documentation or anything like that. But basically, I'm about 8 weeks, barring on any problems or anything, to Canada, which is super exciting. So I did promise as well, because I know a lot of people do the move to Canada. So I've actually got like a bunch of stuff here, and like the stuff that I've done so far to move to Canada, I've got like literally like everything here that I've used to actually like do the move so far, despite having like my folder of Canada on my computer. So that's one thing I'll definitely get on there, put all the stuff in one place to do with Canada, and also have a backup hard drive on it, because you don't want to miss any of these documentations. Like for instance, because you have to get your national police certificate check, and if you've got a scanned copy of this, or if you've lost this or anything, you want to have backups of these and photocopies of all of these. So number one there, back up everything, because you don't want to lose this documentation, because it's a bitch to get it. So for my first step, what I've got here is, because I've got like a whole list of instructions here. So I know it's really weird. When I was actually writing like all this out, I was just like, wow, I've done like a lot. Like this has only been like the last 6 weeks. I just can't believe how much I've actually done. But anyway, I feel like I'm writing this for someone, which is kind of weird. Anyway, sidetracking. So the first step for me with what I've actually, I think was for me, was make a decision to really go. You can't, because I originally played around with Canada for about 6 months, and I was saying to people, yeah, I'm moving to Canada maybe towards the end of the year, start of next year kind of thing. And it has ended up happening, but I was playing around with it for 6 months, and until I made the actual decision to go, which was probably, in all honesty, I think it was probably about 6 weeks ago. And now it's just like, and I'm already by the 31st of December, which is really cool to get the final application through, is I'm actually, waiting on immigration to get back to me to accept me. And like, that's how quickly you can move when you really make that hardcore decision. Nobody's talking you out of it. You're not talking yourself out of it. You are just going. And that's a really big thing, because you can't half-ass this, because they've got timelines on visas. Like when they actually sent me the invite, I had probably like, I think it was like 10 days to accept the invite. If I didn't accept the invite, then I was out. So they have timelines on this, so you can't play around with this sort of thing. So first step, make a decision to go. The next thing that I did from there was, when I decided to go to Canada, was, what do you need? Like, do you know anybody that's over there in Canada? Get in contact with them ASAP, because they know what to do. And I did that. It was really, actually, I was very lucky. Katie, who was an old dance teacher of mine at Leaps and Bounds back in the country days, I contacted her because I knew that she was going to Canada, and she was the best first person to talk to. She sent me, I think I said in a previous diary log, she sent me a whole list of what to do. She sent me a whole list of websites to go to and everything, and she really helped me get, like, she actually made it a lot faster than I think it could have been. And she put me onto IEP, which are amazing people. I cannot explain to you how many emails I've sent to these guys asking every question known to man. And this guy on there that I'm messaging, I'm guessing he's on my case, Nick Matthews, amazing dude. He's answered every question I've had, and he's been on the ball with it. It took a few days for them to contact me, but during that time I was going through Katie's list of what to do. So the first thing once you get these steps and everything, do the things that take the longest first. So with me was getting the National Police Certificate, which took a little bit longer for Tiny, because originally I was getting the wrong one. Eventually got to the right one, and getting the driver's history completed report, which is just on Vic Roads as well. Those kind of things take a little bit longer, so I suggest doing those first. Getting your passport photo as well. I'll be getting onto that, getting a digital copy too. Don't just get these copies as well, because you can scan them through, but it's just easier. You can just get the post office to send you an email with them, and it just creates like a lot less hard work for you. So that was one of the things I did while I was waiting for IUP to contact me, was just contacting those people. And also they sent me, when they're finally got in contact with me, there's 3 ways you can go with them. So you can just get visa assistance, and I really would, if this is your first time doing this, even if I was doing this again for another country, I would be getting help through them, because there was questions on the application that I was like, I have no idea what to answer with this, and if you get one thing wrong, you get the whole application back, you have to do it all again, and that could be a month down the track if you stuff something up. So you can get visa assistance from them, and the second step is they get you on the ground. They help you when you get there with like rentals and employment, setting up a bank account, taxes, how to live in Canada. Like, they give you all the information you need with that, and they put you in contact with SWAP. SWAP is a host organization in Canada, and it's a really big company, and you actually, if you go through IEP, you get a 24-month membership. Just found this out today, so just reading this now. And SWAP stuff, they can assist you with anything you need during this period, whether it's, you know, jobs, accommodation, bank accounts, tax information, which is what IEP helps you with. But these are the guys, obviously, they get to do that for you. And you have 24-month assistance from them, and that's just because you're going through IEP. So that's the second step. That's what I did, and that costed around $5.95, I think. And then there's a third step where they go one step further, which is when you get guaranteed employment. So they start you, when you're in like for instance, I'm in Australia. So when you're in Australia, they get you a job while you're still in Australia before you go there. So you go there with a job. And most of those are like ski resorts, and it's like 6 months to 12-month contracts. And I didn't really want to do that because I wanted a little bit more flexibility when I go over there, because I'm going over there to act and I don't want anything else to, you know, interfere with that. So we'll be getting obviously work over there, but I just want to a little bit more flexible, so I decided to go with the second option. And once I did that, they put you through to GCKey, which is a Canadian Immigration and Citizen website, so that's where you put your applications through. And once I set all that up through there, there's a whole, this IEP is freaking fantastic. So this isn't all of them, but they send you, so this is the first application when you get through to GCKey, and this is just to get in the visa pool. So you're not even applying for a visa, this is just get into the pool of candidates. And they have all these booklets of instructions when you're going through the application, which actually states each question and states how to answer it as well, and have all this documentation listed for you. They also give you like getting your Canadian resume as well, because the Canadian resume is so different to a normal resume, and it's so much more in depth. So that's just all the listings of like what you should do there. So that's something also too I would get on top of pretty quickly, is the Canadian resume, as it's really, especially with the last application that I just put through there, I actually really needed it, because they went through in the last application your last 10 years of employment that you need to list all there, and you need dates, you need specifics, you need what type of job it was, the name of the company, how long you were there for, very specific stuff. So get the Canadian resume sorted, because that helps that process go so much faster. And after that, yep, it did that, went through that, Canadian resume. Oh, and also, so your ETA, this is another visa, this is for Canada, but this is just alongside your normal work visa you get there. So apparently to even be on the ground, I don't completely understand this, just do it. So you have to get an ETA visa as well, and that's just so you can step foot in there. I think it's more of a tourist visa, but you need it to actually be able to get your work visa as well, which is, I don't know what all that means, but basically just get the ETA as well. So there's a website that they put you through to get the ETA. And also, if you plan to go to the US, which is most likely, because, you know, it's so close, but a lot of the flights that are direct from Australia to Canada are bloody expensive. So what it is, there's actually a flight, I'm trying to look for this flight at the moment too, that stops in LA and then goes to Canada. It's a lot cheaper to do because you've got the stopover there. And even if you're on the ground in the US for like 4 hours, you need this ESTA visa, even if it's just for a stopover, for a layover kind of thing. So that's something that I would get as well. If you don't plan on getting that flight, you know, don't bother. But I think it's a good thing to have, because the border is just so close there, just to get into the US. So that's something, you know, personally I would get, but that one's more up to you. Yeah, all of these above things, like getting the police check, getting the completed driver's history report, getting your resume together, getting your passport photo, all that kind of stuff, I was getting that done after I'd done the first application through GCKey, which is, you know, the website that I talked to you about, just to get into the pool. So this documents that you're getting all together at the moment, this is for your final application. But when I got that final application on the 28th, I could do it within a day, because I already had all these documents. You need to scan them all through your printer, so you've got an all digital version, as that's what you need to do to upload to the files on this final application. So you need to be scanning all this stuff through. So really keep it organized. Like, I could probably be a little bit more organized with this, but where is it? Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. But basically, I have one, oh, there she is. I have one plastic pocket. That's such a cheap ass, really. I have one plastic pocket for all this stuff here that I've got all, because I want all a printed copy as well as a digital copy as well as a backup copy, because you don't want to lose any of the stuff, especially if you are overseas, because you need to keep all your identification stuff on you in case they ask for it while you're over there. But definitely get as organized as you possibly can with it. Do that. Go to the next page. Also, during the whole waiting period, because after I did that first application through, that was when I was waiting to get invited by Canadian Immigration, and that took a few weeks, and that was frustrating. Because don't waste this time. Even if you get all this stuff sorted, you know, the list that they give you, which is fantastic, I would be organising stuff for while I'm living there. So when I was waiting for, after the first application, immigration needed to get back to me, I was looking into phone plans, because I'm like, I'm going to need to contact people. I need to find ways to contact people, because when I first get on the ground there, the only way I'll be able to contact, you know, family, for instance, or use any sort of internet is when I got Wi-Fi, and you know, I'm not going to have Wi-Fi ever, only at the airport or the hotel or something. I'm like, well, what do I do about in between? Because Tiny's got no sense of direction. I suck at finding my way anywhere. I need Google Maps on my phone. Literally, it's how I get around. And so I was just like, well, what the hell am I going to do there? Because I'm going to need to be going down the street to, you know, find a job, as well as, you know, finding a rental and stuff, you know. So what do I do here? So I've done a major look on the internet, which took ages. So there's this, I think it's called Sims Direct, or there's a different one too. There's two that I'm tossing up between. There is one that you just get 4 gigs of data, use it anywhere in Canada, and it lasts for 30 days. You give them the date that you go there, that you land, and it goes from 30 days after that, and it's just literally a chuck out sim, so you don't use it afterwards. And it gives you 4 gigs of data. I'm like, okay, so 4 gigs, that's enough for me to be able to use Google Maps and get around in Canada, because I need that. Like, if I don't have that, I think it'll be very messy over there. So that is a possibility. There's also this other one, which is another chuck away sim, which gives, I think it's 4 gigs of data too. I can put all this stuff in the description for you guys, but it also gives you calls around Canada, and something else as well, maybe to the US, but basically you get that with it, and that lasts for you for 30 days as well. And you're not on a plan with these, that's why I love them, because they're just chuck away sims. And that is in between me getting a phone plan there, which I've also looked up. There's this phone plan with Roger. I think that's the main internet network that they use over there. And that one, you get, it's $70 a month, and you get all Canadian calls, and you get 22 gigs of data, because I need a lot of data, and all unlimited messaging and stuff as well too. So I've got that, you know, the Sims Direct plan, or the 4 gigs of data, the chuckaway sim in between me getting that other phone plan, but I want something to back me up in case that phone plan, you know, takes a little bit longer. So these are the things that I like to think about, because one of my little notes here, which is actually towards the end, don't leave anything to chance. Don't think, oh, don't worry, I'll just sort that out when I'm over there. You are in a strange country, and you've never, like, for me, for Canada, I've never been there before. Everything's going to be new. Everything's going to be overwhelming. I'm going to be, you know, as calm as I can be in my Zen-like mode. But there are going to be things that I haven't planned for that I actually, you know, just couldn't, because that just happens when you travel. And there's just things you can't plan for. But I want to plan for as much as I can, so when those scary moments happen, I have backups, such as that SIM card if I need to ring someone, you know, WhatsApp. Stuff like that, I've got backups to get me through those moments. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, sort that out when I get over there, please, please, please don't leave it to chance there. Organize as much as you can in your home country where you feel safe and you got time. Do as much as you can there before you get to Canada, because there's going to be other things that are going to shake you over there. And if you've planned for as much as you can, you're going to have as much backup as possible to be like, okay, I've got this. I can call people. I can do this. You know, I'm safe here. I've got accommodation for this week. I'm safe. Organize as much as you can. So that's a big, big note there. It's a no, Tani. And I'm like, if I don't plan, I'll panic. So also join Facebook groups. So there's Facebook groups, there's Aussies in Canada and Aussies in Vancouver. They're really great. I asked them about phone plans and stuff as well. It's just good to connect with people on there. So I'll be joining those two Facebook groups too. And one thing that I have done too is, this is personal, but I love my car. I love driving. So I've applied for an international driver's license, which you can just get through RACV. Yes. Yes, that's where I got it. Yeah, I got it. Sorry, there's just so many websites I've been on. It's been crazy. Poor mine, I've been dragging her everywhere while I've been organising this. Yeah, so apply for the international driver's license so I can drive there. But also, side note too, if you do have your normal driver's license, your Victorian one, they don't recognise that as ID over there. So as soon as you get over there, SWAT will help you with this. I've been told by Nick Matthews, who's answered every bloody question I've asked. So get your Canadian driver's license as soon as you can, because I don't recognise in Basel pubs. So if you want to go drinking, you know, you're going to have to bring your passport, and I don't think you're going to want to bring that. So if you do have your license, I would get that, or find some sort of other identification, because you really don't want to be taking your passport everywhere with you, because you don't want to lose that. So a little side note, this is all while I'm waiting to be invited. I'm just like, immigration, please invite Tani. Also looking into flight options. So there's two that I'm looking at. I've got an appointment with STA Travel. They're really good to deal with. I had a friend that used to work there. She recommended them to me. Because it's really hard, because your visa, you don't, like, even though it says 8 weeks, it could be longer, it could be shorter, like, you just don't know. So it's very hard to be able to book your flights on that. Like, you need to have the flexibility to change them. So it's just like, oh, what do I do here? Because if I leave it till a week before I go, like, I'm going to get such an expensive flight, and that's not going to be fun. So there is a possibility. So I don't completely understand this yet. I need STA to describe this to me a little bit more. But apparently you can put a $99 deposit down for a flight, and you don't have to pay for it till 10 weeks before. And that $99 deposit, that can be transferred if you need to change your flight to your next flight. So you don't lose any money, and you're not getting any like fees for changing flights. So I want to look into that a little bit more. But there's also, I think my cousin told me, she said you can also just purchase an option which allows you to change your flight for a small fee. But I want to avoid as many fees as you can, because you need as much money when you get over there. So I'm looking into these options. So when I know, you know, what's the best deal and what's, you know, felt good for me, I'll let you guys know. But those are the two that I'm looking into at the moment. However, if you know better, message me. Also researching majorly into travel insurance, because travel insurance is a bitch. It's so expensive, like you need it, but it's really expensive. IEP have actually found a really good deal, I've realized. I was a bit nervous when I was first going through them. I'm just like, because they've said to me, which is really quite interesting, I understand it, but for instance, if you get 1 year's worth of travel insurance, when you get on the ground there and the immigration agent is, you know, checking you out, checking out your documents, your POE and all that stuff, making sure you got your visa, all good. If they see that you've only got a year's worth of travel insurance, they can actually shorten your 2-year work and holiday visa to 1 year, because you've only gotten 1 year of travel health insurance. So that's saying to them that you actually, you know, you can't look after yourself for the full 2 years here. So it doesn't happen to everybody, but I wouldn't want to leave anything to chance. So this is what IEP has done as well. They recommend getting the full 2 years. And it's actually, I've realized, because I was thinking, oh my god, like I'm getting totally stung, like this is so expensive, because it's $1,700 for the 2 years. I'm like, god, that's so much money. And then Mum and I went down to the bank and we're checking out the travel insurance there, and for 1 year it was $2,100, and I was just like, I think I'm getting a pretty good deal through IEP. Also check, of course, like all the travel insurance, like what they actually offer, because even my cousin Gabby said, she's like, you know, I know it sounds horrible, but she's like, Tani, if you died over there, she's like, you want to make sure that you're actually covered to actually retrieve your body to come back to Australia, which it sounds horrible, but it's actually really true, because a lot of families have actually been stunned by that. If they've had death overseas, you're actually getting the body back, how much money it is. So check into the travel insurance, but if you're going through IEP, don't stress, it's really good through them. And blah, 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 what's the next one? Oh yeah, I did really research into this. I was really hoping, because they've got they don't have Medicare, you know, the Aussie one over there, because there is a deal with certain countries within the Commonwealth, reciprocal, oh my god, did not say that properly, reciprocal healthcare agreement, which means our Medicare works over there. It's recognised over there as, you know, for covering you, but unfortunately Canada doesn't have it. So if you're looking into that, stop. They don't have it. But apparently MSP is pretty good with Medicare over there. My got a mate over there, a recent mate, my new Canadian friend. She said they're pretty good. But travel insurance does cover you for a lot. So if you want like MSP on top of that, that's just extra insurance for you over there. Like if you are skiing and everything as well, like if you want to do all that snow skiing, you have to get specific insurance for that because you're doing a high risk sport. So if you do plan skiing over there, which is what Tani does, I need to do a little bit more research into that. But there is different insurance you have to get, and it could be more expensive because you're doing a high risk sport. So if you do plan on skiing over there, I'd really look into that. Also, I've noticed a big note when I wasn't talking about, like, you know, I wasn't getting any answers. So this, like, as soon as I made, you know, the big decision, like, I'm going to Canada, I'm talking to everyone about it, and it's been the best thing. It's really, you don't know who knows who. So there's just so many people I've ran into, they're like, oh yeah, no, this person in Canada, no, this person in Canada, I'll get you in contact with them. Because I did this, I was talking to an acting friend, and when we were doing the combat course, which is so cool, she's just like, yeah, I have a mate over there. She's been over there for 4 years. She's on residency now. She did the 2-year work holiday visa. Really nice chick. She's like, I think she can help you. And that has been the best thing because that girl has been amazing. She's going to show me around when I get on the ground there. She may even know roommates and stuff too. She's going to show me all about the acting schools there, where to go, giving me a list of agencies and everything there, which has been, she's answered all my questions too. She's like this Nick Matthews guy on through IEP. She's just been amazing. Like she even messaged me on like Christmas. I'm just like, oh my god, I didn't expect you to reply. I didn't expect you to reply to me on Christmas Day. I'm like, Merry Christmas. But yeah, she's been a really cool chick. So really big note, talk to people. Just talk to everyone. You don't know who knows who. You don't know who could put you in contact with someone over there that could be really instrumental in you getting settled. So talk, talk, talk. Also, contact your tax man. Do that, contact him because they need to know when you're going as well, like around about a rough day. And you don't need to worry about the tax return till the normal, you know, 6 months, not 6 months, 12 months, like the normal date that you have to lodge your tax return. You can still do that while you're overseas. The only thing they need to know, which for tax purposes apparently, they need to know whether you're renting or not over there. So when you get your rental, you need to contact them, your new address and everything. So they need to know that. But you only pay tax up until the point where you're working here. So, but you can lodge it early if you like, but you don't have to, he said. So that's just a choice for you. I would really get on top of this too, so you don't get stung, because I nearly did, but it's lucky that, you know, I've been calling people really early. But for instance, I'm with Telstra, and with my home internet, I know I purchased this and they did not put the note on my account, but I got a flexi plan with the contract, so I couldn't get charged like an early cancellation fee. And they're like, no, you didn't. So I eventually got in contact with the manager there, because actually, if you want a little note with Telstra, so if the person that you're currently talking to on the phone is really frustrating you and being really, really annoying, just talk to their manager. Just say to them, can I please speak to your superior? And when you talk to the superior, generally, they, you know, you get what you want. And I did, because he was trying to say like, you know, you need to get, I think it's sort of trying to charge me like $150 or something with the early cancellation fee. I'm like, hang on, I've already paid for a flexi plan. Stop trying to charge me more money. I need as much money as I can to go to Canada. But yeah, so contacted them, and they'd given me a date, so you don't get stung with an extra month of bill. Ask them what day do I have to contact you by so I don't get charged this month, so you can have internet up until the point till you leave. So definitely contact them early, especially with your phone as well. Save your Australian number, especially if you plan on coming back to Australia. You can save it for $10. There's a website as well that's really easy. Katie sent it to me, so I can put that in the description as well to save your Australian number. So when you come back, you don't have to get a new number. But also, because I'm getting a new phone with the plan I'm getting over there, so this old phone here that I'm using now, I'm just going to put a prepaid SIM into there, so every time I come back in the country, just pay, you know, $20 for however much I need. And so I can just, you know, still make Australian calls and be able to contact people when I'm in Australia, because obviously my Canadian plan won't work. So that's something I would definitely do. I would get a new phone over there with a plan, but up to you what you like to do. It's just so when you come back to Australia, you can contact people on that same number and just on a prepaid SIM. It's just cheap, you just pay as you go. So that's one thing that I'm doing, but personal preference up to you. Contact your electricity company too. Anyone really they have regular monthly bills with, contact them early, because you don't want to get stung with any type of extra bills or cancellation fees or anything like that. So the electricity company only needs like 4 days notice, and then they can cut the electricity, so that's really easy. And contact your rental agency even earlier than the 28 days. Like 28 days in advance is what they say, you know, you have to contact them by. But I like to contact them even earlier than that to see actually what you have to do to get your apartment rent, to get your bond back. You really want your bond back. And also get a reference from them too, because that's really going to help you with rentals in Canada. And that's the same thing with any previous employees you've had with work or anything, just anything to make it easy for you to get work over there. Get references from as many people as you can. And really, really important, so we didn't realize this until my sister went overseas, is to make somebody in Australia, somebody you really trust, because they're going to see all your bank details, all of what's in your bank, in your Australian bank. Make somebody a signatory in your account, because if you need anything done here with your Australian account, well, obviously you're going to be in Canada, so you can't do it. Make somebody a signatory so they can actually have access to your account to pay any bills, or if there's any problems or anything, that's the person they contact there. So have someone become a signatory on your account. Like, just say that to them at the bank and they can just do all that for you. Make sure it's someone that you really, really trust. And tell them when you're going overseas and what countries you're actually going to, because if you don't tell your bank and you go overseas and make a transaction in Canada, they'll lock your account because it's an unusual transaction. And that's, you know, the good thing about banks. They immediately lock down your account when there's any unusual activity. So really tell them where you're going. So I've said to them Canada and the US, because I do plan on going to the US too. So if they see any transactions in there, they're not going to lock down my account. Also with bank cards and stuff, so I've just found out that your normal access card that you use here in Australia, or whatever your home country is, it won't work in other countries. Your credit card will work in any country, which is great, so you can use that. But I would be getting a bank account in the actual country you're in. So when you get paid your Canadian dollars, they just go in your Canadian bank account, and it's... Oh, sorry, that's just my bro. He interrupts bloody everything, doesn't he? If you look back at my other videos and stuff, he really does. He interrupts everything. Anyway, so I'm going with Royal because apparently they're really good. And so you just get issued a card from them, you get a bank account, and then every dollar that you earn there just goes into that account, and that stays in Canadian dollars, so you don't have to worry about transfer fees. And one thing you really want to try avoid doing, because apparently there's really a lot, there's a big fee on, I think it's about $5. So if you transfer money from your Aussie to your Canadian account, you get charged like $5 every time you do that. So it can get quite expensive if you're transferring all the time. So really any money you're earning, just put it in your Canadian account. Don't bother putting it in your Australian account, because that's just going to cost you a lot of money. So only really transfer international fees when you really have to. What's the next step? Oh yeah, this is really, really important, because when my sister moved overseas, this is the one thing that she didn't think of or prepare for, which of course it's first time moving overseas, like you wouldn't. But don't forget the things that make you feel like you're at home. So when you're in a strange country, everything is unfamiliar, everything just feels out of sorts because you haven't gotten used to or accustomed to the environment or the people or the place that you're in. You really need a few things that make you feel like you're home. So for me, to relax, and finding things that help you relax. Like, what do you do to relax in Australia? Somehow bring that to Canada with you. So for me, it's my books. I love reading. So what I've been doing is, it's also to keep me busy while I'm on a 30-hour flight, because that's going to be very interesting. I'm downloading all PDFs of what I can get, and audiobooks too, so of all my favorite books. And also I love watching movies, so I'm getting as many of those as I can too, because I just don't know how long I'm going to be without internet for. They say that the hotels have Wi-Fi and everything, but I like to prepare for every endeavour. And also with me, having a couple photos and everything to your family, just things like that that automatically make me feel like, I'm all sweet. Because I'm downloading all my inspirational leaders, as well as some videos from them, like Marie Forleo, Brené Brown, Infinite Waters, Boho Beautiful. I've downloaded all my yoga routines too, so I definitely have those, just in case I don't have home internet for a while when I first get to my rental. So it's just preparing for all that stuff that makes me feel good, makes me feel calm and relaxed. I've downloaded meditation music too. I've really prepared for all that, because I'm putting that all, where are you, honey? My tablet, which I've rediscovered. I forgot that I actually had this. So I put it all on here so I can just do it all from here. My audiobooks, my PDFs, and putting all my pictures and everything on there. Just stuff that just makes me feel like I'm, calm, relaxed, and feel at home. Because as soon as I get there too, my rental, I'll be getting all my incense and candles and everything too, because you don't want to skimp out on stuff like that, because people just think like, oh no, I'll be sweet all over there. It's fun, I'll be cool. Like, no, really, it's so important to make it feel like home as soon as you can. Like, don't just think, I'll organize it all over there. That's what I said before. Don't leave anything to chance. Don't say like, I'll just do that over there, because you're in a strange country. You don't know everything. Even you can have all the help in the world, but you can still feel alone. So just do things that make you feel good. That's why I've made sure I can get back in contact with home as soon as I can too, with the phone plan and that 4 GB Sims Direct, I'm pretty sure it's called. So I've done all that. Oh, really important too. Get a universal plug adapter. So actually I'll get one off the laptop now. I'll show it to you. Try and get closer to the camera. So this is it here. My sister got me this when she was in Dubai. So this plug, I'm trying to change it too much from Aussie. So these things here, they move and they change it to whatever country you're in. So they'll adapt in any way they can for any plug. So it's not currently working at the moment. I'm going to have to actually get my sister to show me how to bloody use this. Or maybe it's just stiff. Basically, these move. They're supposed to move. And it works in any plug. It's like an international plug. So it's for your laptop or your phone charger, because the worst thing you could do over there is go over there and realize that your plug doesn't work and you can't charge your phone or get in contact with people. So this is the way here this is how you avoid that. So get this baby. Oh, there we go. Now they're starting to move. There we go. So get one of these. If you can't find it online, I'm sure like Harvey Normal or something will have it, because my sister got it for me, so I can't remember exactly where she got it, but just look up online, universal, plug adapter, something like that in the international plug, and just get that, because you don't want to leave the country without this, because I didn't even know this until my sister moved overseas. All these are different everywhere. The power points in every country are different. So get one of these. Yeah, that's another thing too. My brother told me this as well. Already look for rentals before you go, just so you're familiar with the area and the area that you'd like to go to. So I'm already looking at like Google Maps and stuff, getting familiar with the area, so I don't just go there and have no idea where I'm going. So that's something too, like public transport. What's a public transport like over there, just so you're not like thrown when you get there. Oh yeah, and going into like the last thing, because like I'll keep updating, because I'm not at the last step yet, because I may have to get biometrics done, which is just fingerprints. So I'll let you know if that ends up happening. But I got invited, so excited. I got invited on the 28th of July, which I had a feeling something was going to happen that day. Had a little feeling. And so I got invited by them, and I submitted my application within 2 days, because I just had to check the family information form too. Oh, and also actually, I will quickly go into this. So this is my little fancy red book. This has literally got everything in it. So that's another thing, actually. That's another little note that I'll add to it. So have one book which has all your notes, what you need to do. Like, what do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to do next week? Because I noticed I wasn't sleeping and I was getting a little bit stressed. I was just like, oh my God, I just can't stop thinking. I can't sleep. And that's because all of what I had to do was in my head. And that's when I'm like, I'm just going to have to write lists, to get this all in my head. I actually got that in a meditation. I was like, how do I handle this? Because I said, I'm already getting a little bit stressed right now, and it hasn't gotten real yet. And that's what, like, I heard lists. So everything that you have to do, write it down. I've got pages worth here. Like, I've got my GC key login here, references, and just like all these, like, it looks like a bunch of gibberish, but to me this actually makes sense to Tiny's brain. But just write all down what you have to do, because the most important thing to do is just to get it out of your head, because that's what I was doing. I realized. Yeah, see, there's lots of pages here, isn't there? Yes, I got my fancy little red book here, which has been like a godsend. I've been carrying this everywhere with me. But just write it all down, make your list. I actually noticed my sister did it a little bit too, so that's why I started making them, as well as getting that answer during meditation. But you just need to get it all out of your head. And that's another thing with stress too. If you are getting stressed about how much you have to do, whatever it is, it's not just moving countries, whatever you're doing, write it all out so it's out of your head, so you don't have to think about it. Because if you start thinking about it and you're going to sleep, you can just go get your little book out and go like, oh yep, I have to do this, this and this tomorrow, yep, done. Because I don't have to remember it, because it's already somewhere else, so I won't forget it. So that's another thing I'll definitely do. But yeah, back to that. So I was invited on 28th of July, which is super exciting. So I submitted the final application today on the 31st. So I thought that was actually really cool that I ended off the year submitting the last application to actually head me to Canada. So that was a really cool, I would consider that the best New Year's Eve ever, really. Yeah, so I know this doesn't like look organized, but it's actually more organized than I realized, because when I actually was writing this list, I was just like, holy crap, I just can't realize how much I've actually done and how much it actually takes. I'm not even like through the full steps yet. So I will be doing more videos on the next steps I'm taking. Like I want to tell you guys how these flights go and the next steps of travel insurance and just with actually getting over there too, because I'm sure there's still things I haven't thought of. But I wanted to end off with this because I have all of this in here just to like do a little bit of a reminder for me of just like why I'm doing it as well, because my US accent coach actually wrote this down for me. She's like, if you quit or don't invest in yourself, someone else will. Therefore, someone else can live your dream. And that actually, when you really think about it, that's actually quite scary, because someone else can. Like, you may have an idea for yourself of where you want to go, where you want to be, what you want to achieve, and if you don't have the guts to follow through with it, chances are you're going to meet someone that did, and you're going to be going, great, like I could have done that, I so could have done that. And that's just my worst fear, is living with regret. And that's what I was thinking with Canada too, because when I finally made the decision, I'm just like, I'm 25 in 2019, I'm just like, I haven't been overseas before, I haven't explored that before, but also I really want to see in myself, do I have what it takes to actually stay in this business and be supported by the acting industry? Like, am I good enough? And also, I just want my shot. That's what like my brother keeps saying with what he's doing, what my mum's doing as well with the theatric stone, what we're achieving there. There's more updates on that one, but I can't talk yet because my brother won't let me. Anyway, when I can say stuff, I'll tell you guys. But that's what we're just saying to all, like us three, we discuss it all the time. We just want somebody to give us a chance, somebody to give us our shot. Like, because I feel like, I really do feel like myself, like I know I can do this. I just need to get somebody else to believe in me. I just feel like I need to stand in the room with them and just talk to them and do my thing. I love it. It was interesting because Mum actually described it to me, because my love for dancing was it's actually very different to my love with acting. Mum actually said, she's like, you love dancing, you loved it, but you were in love with acting. And I was just like, so that's what people say, like, you know, with past loved ones, because my sister always said it with her past boyfriend that she had. And she's like, I'll always love him. And I'm like, I don't understand that, because you're with somebody else and you know, you love him. But it's different. You can always love someone, but the person that you may be with, you were in love with them. Like, it's a different type of energy towards it, because I think about acting all the time, and when I'm with the people that are in the industry, because I just love the people in the industry, it just lifts me up, it fills me up, it gives me energy, it doesn't drain me at all. Like, I don't dread going to an acting class, like I love it, or going onto a set. Like, I just feel like, you know, it just feels like another home to me when I'm on there. And that's when you know you're in the right industry. And I know within myself, I need to move to make this happen. I just feel like I can't make it in Australia. I can't get Australia to see me, but I feel like over there, for some reason, I just feel like it's going to open up. So anyway, this is actually another one here too, which is really great. This is my Year 12 psychology teacher gave this to me, Holmesy, best teacher hands down I've ever had. And he gave all this to the class before we actually started off the year. And he said, the road to, this is like a little quote thing, he's printed it all out for us too, which is really sweet. The road to anywhere is full of pitfalls. It takes courage to negotiate those pitfalls and focus on the journey. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you cannot, you're right. We are on a journey to the top of the mountain. It will be long and hard. You and I may slip a little along the way, but together we'll get there, all the way to the top. And he said this too. And when we do, at 7 a.m. Monday, December 17th, the view will be magnificent. And I thought, like, when I read that, I was just like, whoa, hits the heartstrings right there, because he's such a cool dude. Like, he's a typical Aussie bloke. Like, he's not like, you know, mushy in any way. But reading this too, like, his heart was so in the right place when he was teaching us. And it's just the best course I've ever done, really. That psychology course I did with him for Year 12, that unit. Yeah, he was an awesome dude. But, yeah, so that's actually where I am with Canada at the moment. So I really hope, if you are planning on doing any of this, I hope that's helped you. I'll put in the notes as many of the websites as possible with it. If not, actually, you know what, I'm going to do something better. If you are interested in having all the websites and all that jazz, any information, just send me a message on the YouTube thing. You can also find me on Instagram at tiny.langshaw. If you want to make it more personal, you can just DM me on that. And if you're looking for any information, I'm happy to pass along any of this to you. And if I could say anything at all to really recommend with this so far, with what I've been going through with this, is just really organize yourself. Don't leave anything to chance. Really, everything you can do in Australia for Canada, do it. Try not to do anything over there is what I'm saying. Like, there's some stuff that you can't avoid, there's some stuff you have to set up over there, like the phone plan stuff. I'd love to set that up here, but you know, I have to do that there. But anything you can get organized here, do it. Organization is the key to this, and just, you really can do this really fast, because I managed to do this in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, I'm already just waiting on my visa to be approved, because I moved like hell to actually get this done. Once you make the decision to go, nothing will stop you. And also, make it home. Do as much as you can to make it home. I'm doing as much as I can right now to really make it feel like home over there. I'm getting as familiar as possible with it as I can too. So I hope this guys has helped you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and share my videos around. You know, some other people may be interested in this too. So, and also just a big thank you, because it is, you know, the last day of the year now, because I'm going to upload this pretty much straight afterwards. But thank you so much for your support, and I hope you've had a great 2018. I feel like it was a bit up and down for everybody, but it really was a year to get to know you, get rid of all the crap that you don't need, all the negativity that you don't need, the people that you don't need, jobs, whatever it was for you. We got rid of all that, I feel like. And also there was a lot of startings and new beginnings. I know there's a big new beginning there for me. They're not always pretty, I'll say that. New beginnings don't often come from, you know, the prettiest places. Like, mine came from a place of pain. I couldn't live in the situation I was anymore. I had to change. I had to claw myself back out, and Canada was my way to get out. I've never felt better since I made the decision. And 2019, I can just, everyone's saying it's so weird. There's so much audio prevalence with it at the moment. So I feel like the guides are really speaking to me. It's really, 2019 is going to be different, guys. So it's going to be, I just feel like everything's going to happen. Everything that you wanted to happen in 2018, I feel like it's going to happen in 2019. And anyway, you can also follow me on Instagram. I do have my journey on there too, so at tiny.langshaw. But anyway, guys, Happy New Year. Big greeting for 2019, and I'll see you guys in my next diary log.